The other thing is nobody sees less potential for what the group needs than another set of Yancey Faulkner's fucking photographs of a bunch of dudes that we have to cut the bottom half of the picture off because there's so much gut happening. Like that does not help. I'm telling you, it fucking doesn't help the dudes. It doesn't help our fucking materials. And I'm the first dude. It was like, so when I saw our pictures coming back, I was coming off 10 years straight of busting my ass as a builder, starting a family, getting home late, eating dinner at 10 o'clock, can't do cardio. My knees are fucking destroyed. I'm in insulin resistance, pre-diabetic state. I'm the first dude. That's why I was like, fuck, I got to change this. And I lost 40 pounds, and we've lost hundreds of pounds.
Wow.
We've lost hundreds of pounds as a group because of that. So no one gets the whole like, Jesus Christ, do we need another fucking dad bod thing and guns? No one gets that better than I do. I get it.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Season 2 of the Liberal Gun Owners Lens podcast. I am Mianovich, and I will be your pilot on an unprecedented ride through the most innovative and forward-thinking analysis of the relationship between humans and guns on planet Earth. The entire nexus between guns and public safety needs a wake-up call, and Liberal Gun Owners is here to rock that party. Are you somebody who thinks you know what's going on with guns and public safety? I don't give a shit. I'm dragging your ass into the future whether you like it or not.
Adam Sorum, welcome to the Liberal Gun Owners Lens podcast, man. It's good to have you here.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a long time coming. And Jimmy Ashe, welcome to the Liberal Gun Owners Lens podcast, dude. It is also great to have you here.
Yeah, thank you. It's been a long time coming.
Yes, and the three of us have been together for a long time, and most people do not realize how long. Many people, I would say, in the Facebook group have no fucking clue who we are or who some of us are. But the reality is I'm staring at the screen right now. There are three video images, myself and Adam and Jimmy, and we are the three people that established Liberal Gun Owners Facebook. And also, if it were not for Liberal Gun Owners Facebook, there would not be Liberal Gun Owners 501c4. So the three most responsible people for all of this happening are sitting in front of my face, which includes a lovely image of myself. So I think it's for this 100th episode of the podcast, which is what this is, I thought it's about high time that I bring in the OGs and we just fucking cut it loose and bring some reality into the digital internet pseudo world so that people know what's up and how things went and how awful it was and how amazing it is now relative to how it was, how rough it was in the beginning. The shit that we had to do to get things to this point was like fucking unbelievable. And like a miracle. It was a miracle. It's a fucking miracle that all of this happened. There was no fucking way if any of us had said, dude, this is going to end up being a thing nationally, or we're going to be flying and driving around the country tens of thousands of miles and spending fucking lots of money and making shit happen and being in books and all, we would have been like, yeah, that's never going to happen, man. But it did happen. So I want to get into Adam here first, and I'll try to switch back and forth between you guys so it's not like one person cruising forever and the other person just sitting there. So Adam, it was in August of 2007. I can't remember if it was the 22nd or the 24th of August in 2007 that you started the Facebook group. So can you just give us like a quick rundown on the why you started the Facebook group, what the feelings were, and so on and so forth?
Okay, so Facebook at that time had just created the ability to make groups. And I dove into a couple different gun groups at the time, and it was garbage. It was bad. People know if you go into a wide open group page on anything, any comments page, it's garbage. So I wanted to create a group that would allow anybody that had a brain, half a brain, and opinion on guns to join it. And originally it was liberal gun owners, but it was for conservatives and for liberals to talk together, throw politics out of it, and just get on and talk about guns. I mean, that was the main reason, because everything else was such trash. And we created the group. The first thing that happened, it added all my friends, my local high school team friends and things like that. I live in a super conservative region. Almost everybody that joined it kind of came on and said, what the fuck is this garbage? Liberals don't own guns. So I had to kick almost everybody from the group right away.
And that was your friends. Like immediately you're kicking out your friends, which is a very important point to make to people overall, is that liberal gun owners, in order for it to be healthy, we have to not fucking care. Like if we know you or we don't know you, in order for it to be good, we have to kick you fucking out if you're a dickhead. And that means people we know, people we're friends with in other avenues, people we're related to, all of that shit is necessary. But go ahead, Adam.
Yeah, so we started that. And then after I did the big purge right away, getting rid of a bunch of the people that kind of were like, liberals don't own guns and all this other crap, we slowly built the group a little bit, had some momentum, but the early posts were bad. It was rough. We had the loudest idiot in the room kept talking, and we had to learn how to moderate the group. I mean, it really was a learning and process, because you can't just let the loudest asshole control everything and be everything. And as liberals, we sometimes let that person that is the loudest voice be controlling the room, especially if they're the one that takes offense, or especially if, sometimes they have, different qualifications or different classifications of their identity or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. If they have motivation, if they're a motivated person and they're pissed off, the first thing that they're going to do is try to take over. Because a lot of people that are motivated and have a axe to grind, they don't necessarily have a voice in the world. And so that's the great thing about the internet. And I think why the internet attracts so many dysfunctional people for so much intense investment is they're going to try to take things over and use whatever it is that's out there for the bulletin board for their bullshit. And like you said, because we're the more tolerant, quote unquote, supposed to be anyway, the more inclusive group, we just go, okay, we don't want to be exclusive assholes, so let's let everybody in. But the problem is on the internet, that's poisonous as hell. And we'll go over this. I'm sure we'll talk about it a bunch, but liberals and progressives and left-wing people and marginalized people have been some of the worst fucking people to us and the most destructive and the most toxic. It's not the conservatives. The conservatives are like easy to keep out because we can see them coming, but our own people are the ones that try to sink the fucking thing. And that's not just in our group, that's on the American left in general. There's a lot of backstabbing and cattiness and infighting. But go ahead, Adam, continue a little bit with what you're saying.
Well, and part of it at the time is, remember, 2007, the political landscape, the political conversations I was having at college, and I was at 22 years old in college at the time, we were actually still able to talk conservatives and liberals, and there was actual conservatives you could talk to that weren't Trumpers, because Trumpers didn't exist back then.
Right.
And so trying to make a group that didn't require people to be liberals wasn't something I really strongly attempted to do. But that was also when things were changing. Right. Conservatives were going more dogmatic with a lot of their materials. And it just ended up being that we had to limit it mainly to be a focus to have a good place for liberals to talk about guns. Yeah. And that ended up being kind of the main focus, where we really got strict on who we let in. But there's a long time when we created the group where we were stagnant.
There was an early era there where, because you were a college student and doing other things, number one, and two, because it was the results were so bad that you weren't necessarily there all the time, that you were not doing the thing. So do you remember that era also, and what were your feelings like? Was it mostly because you were too busy and you had other things going on, or were you just like disgusted with it? Like where was your head?
Some of it was I felt like I was shouting into the wind.
Yeah.
I would post something, it would get a handful of responses. We'd have, some guy that would just use it as his personal blog, and there was posting and it was vomiting on the page.
Yeah.
It was posting, and then there'd be no communication. There'd be no discussion. It would just be this, and then they're gone.
Yeah.
Or I'd post something, ask questions, and I'd get like a handful of responses from the community. But otherwise, it was just kind of people were in the group, but not really using the group.
Yeah.
Or taking part in the group.
The good news for you is that whole shouting into the wind thing. Now I'm a professionalized version of that. Now we have somebody that gets paid a salary to have the same fucking feeling every fucking day, because it does, no matter what you do in our position in this country with the finger lock, the philosophical finger lock that we have over this issue. It's just, people are so locked in, they create, it's like I don't say a warp zone. It's a black hole for new thinking. It's a black hole for innovative anything. People are so set. So the good fucking news is things haven't changed. You're not alone, Adam. We professionalized the whole thing, and we have not been able to fucking change that. It's the same thing. So how many people before the era of, which we're going to talk about in a second here, because I'm going to throw it over to Jimmy. Before Jimmy becomes the main dog admin, how many people do you think were in the group? Like before that?
I think it was under 200.
Yeah.
I think it was small. It was, initially I added there's 400 people right away, because it added all my friends on my friends list.
Yeah.
Got rid of 300 of those people at least. And then people started popping in, and people started joining, because we were one of the only, I was really quick to get the name Liberal Gun Owners.
Yeah.
And at that time, Facebook didn't let people, there'd be 20 different Liberal Gun Owner groups.
Yeah.
Or places like that where you could just steal the name of something.
Yeah.
So that did lead to a lot of people. I think that's how Jimmy, and I think that's how you guys kind of found it initially. It was one of the only places out there like that. But yeah, no, the numbers were pretty small. Definitely under 1,000, probably under 200, I believe, at the time. And actually, active people was 5.
Yeah, and we should mention also that for all of the problems we're about to describe here today, because there's going to be a lot of venting and there's going to be a lot of talk about the shit, so that everybody that listens to this podcast fucking understands that if they enjoy this podcast, or they enjoy the Liberal Gun Owners Facebook group or anything, that there is a tremendous amount of fucking shit eating that went on just for that to be able to occur. And the idea that it's the community that's out there that's responsible for how awesome all of this is fucking bullshit, right? The community is half responsible, maybe at this point, 50% responsible. And God bless the responsive community and the cool people that are making it awesome. But it's just not true that there was this awesome, healthy, balanced discussion phenomenon that was out there that just kind of came in on its own, in its own accord, to develop the Facebook community, right? Or what ends up becoming the company. It's just not fucking true. It is, just like in many other instances, it's a small group of focused people that make this happen. And then the other people decide if they're going to support that or not. And we really don't get, relatively speaking, we don't really get a lot of fucking support from a wide range of people. We have a few people that give us killer support. And that's how we're able to do things. So at some point, in 2008, I tried to join the group, late 2008, and it was dog shit. So I left. I was like, I can't. What the fuck is this? I wasn't exactly up for contributing all the time either, but boy, it was just nothing. And then I went away, and then sometime in 2009, I came back and was like, boy, this is fucking dog shit. And I left again. At some point, or the third time I tried, I was like, all right, I'll go back and try it again. There was a handful of people there. That was where it was cool. Some cool people. Adam was there. Jimmy was there. Brett Morse was there. And there are a couple other people that I'm just escaping my mind, but this is like what it was like 2010 or 2011. Jimmy, when do you remember when you joined the group?
Yeah. I don't really remember. I think it was sometime after that, maybe like 2013 or something.
Yeah.
Somewhere in that ballpark. But
I could have swore you were in 2011 because yeah.
It could be. It's just so long ago.
Yeah,
I don't quite recall.
We had our second child in 2011 and you were having your first child. So
yeah, Sammy
I knew
was
you
born around then.
when that was happening, and we used to text, we used to text on the phone. So
yeah.
You had to have been in 2011-ish, like a little before then. So do you have impressions? Do you remember when you first joined what your feelings were, what your emotions were like, thoughts?
Oh yeah, I mean they're pretty much on par with what you and Adam have said. It was kind of a wasteland, right? Not a lot of people, but the people that were posting were just dominating with the dumbest shit. It was a couple of people, and I remember I would scroll down to like look for new posts, and it'd be the same guy. So at some point, I actively tried to like get people to have conversations about guns. I remember at this point I was like, I didn't want anybody to talk about the politics, so I started doing this. At the time now it seems kind of hokey, but I would do gun of the week. So I would like do a random gun, post a YouTube video about it, and get people talking about it. Sometimes it would work, sometimes it wouldn't. But it was more breaking up the monotony of just the trash that was on the page at the time.
Yeah, and I think we can safely say that the internet is not really there as much for two-way street discussion as it is for one-way street statements or one-way street baiting disguised as a two-way discussion. That the people that use the internet, if I have to say a percentage of them, it's well over 50% of the people are doing that. They're baiting to try to get people into discussion that's really just about them getting fucking attention, or they're just flat out just using it for their own purposes. Jimmy, do you remember that when you asked, because I remember this, we were talking about this page, the group, and it was just shitting the bed again. And yeah. You and I were friends, and you said, I think I'm going to get in you didn't even use his name. This is where we were.
Yeah, we didn't.
Like you were like, I think I'm going to get in touch with the guy that runs the page and ask him if he'll let me be the admin. Like we weren't even friends with Adam at this point.
Right. At this point, we didn't really talk to Adam. So Adam made the page. And yeah, me and you, Randy, would talk a lot in the back channels about what was going on the page. We would talk about some of the people on there that we're always seeing. And I remember I really wanted the page to work. So at the time, I think I had maybe one gun at that time, but I was like super into it, learning all I could about, the safety operation. And just like Adam said, when I would look for groups, they were all, conservative, so the one group I found, I think I typed in liberal gun owner and the group popped up. So I joined it. But I remember, at a certain point, you and I talked about it, about reaching out to Adam to try to get one of us to be an admin to help.
And this is a good insight for everybody, the difference between the Facebook page and what that necessitates for success, like what's actually required to make that successful, and what Liberal Gun Owners 501c4 actually is, where it actually exists, because it doesn't exist on the Facebook page. We are on the outside of it. That's the only way that this thing has ever been able to have any kind of success or movement or evolution forward. It cannot be dictated to by the community on the Facebook page. Every time we've ever tried to do that, it fucks things up. So you have to have a core of stable adults who have vision and can collaborate and so on and so forth. But the real the real hub of communication for liberal gun owners was then, during this time, and is still now, my cell phone. That's this hard drive. That's the server. It's my cell phone. And that is where it's at still to this day. And the extension of my cell phone is what we're doing right now, the development group chats that we have, the email, and then when we get together in the real world. But it does not exist on that group because you simply cannot do that. You can't have something that's consistent and evolving and constructive if you're basing it on some forum or some chat. Now, before we go forward with Jimmy, I just remembered a question that I wanted to ask Adam before. There was a time, Adam, where somebody from another liberal gun group, which we're not going to mention, hit you up in your bubble with a salty attitude, basically is what I recall, and basically said, you're going to fucking give us this Facebook group. You're going to give us this group. You need to give us this group because it doesn't belong to you. It should belong to us. First and foremost, did that happen?
Yes, that definitely happened. The individual is for a long time no longer with that group anymore.
Okay.
But just to put that out there. But yeah, they basically came and said they have rights to the group and they wanted to force me to hand over the group because at the time, I think I was only like 24 years old or whatever.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm not going to give the group up. Because at the time, it was still a decent group. It wasn't a great group, but it had communications. Looking back, we'd have posts where there'd be like half a dozen comments. I mean, so there was something going on, but they just came all hot and bothered and pissed off and basically threatening to sue me over it. And I said, fine, you can have the group for $1 million. Because I was just like, I'm just going to trick this guy a little bit. And because I'm just like, I'm a student too. I mean, so it's not like I have a lot of time. But yeah, no, they came in pretty hot and heavy. Yeah, they totally wanted rights to the group. They wanted to take over the group. And I wasn't going to just give that up to some random person that's badgering me on the side. Even if they were nice, I wouldn't have given it up.
Yeah.
But with how salty they were, there's no way I was going to just hand something over that I created and that I had been working hard and trying to build, even though it wasn't going anywhere.
Yeah. And I think we should note here that this fucking dude he's not wasn't a high level cat. He wasn't a high level cat in this organization, but he was a known cat. And he might have been known at another level of how that structure does things, but he wasn't like leadership. Okay, he wasn't leadership. But underneath that leadership, some dude came in and fucking basically said to Adam, give us this fucking thing or else.
Yep.
Okay.
It was basically a threatening lawsuit.
Yeah, threatening lawsuit. And now, in the other hand, too, I do want to say that the other liberal gun owning groups have been very helpful and supportive, right? From the level of who the actual fucking leaders are.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of them are in our group.
Correct. And we have a good relationship. But it's important that we tell you this fucking story so that everybody understands where the fucking enemies have been for us. Not the conservatives. The enemies are not just in the liberal gun owning community. They're in other fucking left of center groups, and they have been shitty to us. And people were shitty to us for a long time. And all we were trying to do was create a viable space for people left of center because I think I said this before, but I'll say it again. For all of the complaining we're going to do today about this, the right wing area of online gunning is so fucking intolerable. And so it's better now. It's better now. It's like the purple middle zone has strengthened. So you can actually be a liberal gun owner now and be out there and people aren't jumping all over you. But for a long time, that wasn't true. The other side is so fucking intolerable. So this isn't one of those instances where Mianovich is going, you know, both sides are the same. They're both bad. I'm not fucking saying that at all. The right-wing gun owner, absolutist, online patriot thing is so fucked up. It's so fucked up. And that's why we need to have our own little haven, right? But once you put the walls up, then you start to realize the other thing that I knew before I was even into this, the fucking backstabbing stuff that happens between people who are progressive and liberal and all of that shit. Okay. So that's why I wanted to ask Adam that. So let's get back to the stories that Jimmy and I were friends from the group. We were basically running what I call the spirit of LGO. The heart of LGO was between Jimmy and I, because Adam was busy doing things. And so Jimmy and I were LGO. The LGO that you have today on the Facebook group and in this company is entirely based on my friendship with Jimmy and Jimmy's friendship.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of the conversations for LGO we were having in text and in chat, and but I remember at this time was kind of when the whole prepper thing was really popular. So I was really into it. You were really into it, and we talk about that as well.
Yeah, we were talking about dual survival with Dave Canterbury and fucking Cody Lundeen all the time. And then we would be like, in those conversations, then we would be like, what about these fucking morons on the LGO page today? Do you fucking believe this shit? So that's what went down. And I remember where I was in my apartment in Pittsburgh when I remember exactly where I was. That. I was laying down looking into my phone and texting with Jimmy, and Jimmy said, I think I'm going to try to talk to the guy who runs the page to try to see if I can get to be an admin. And I was like, please fucking do that. Like, let's see what we can make out of this, because we both knew that there was potential. Just like Adam knew when the idea came to him originally that there was something there. But so let's switch over to Adam. Adam, you almost shelved the fucking group, right? Like, you almost shelved it.
Well, basically what was happening with Facebook at the time is they were transitioning their groups a little bit. And the groups that had low traffic, and our page at the time was dying. It had super low traffic. It was getting ready to be archived. And I was like kind of sitting there looking at it going, do I want to let this thing be archived? Because it's been such a struggle to get the thing going. And then that's when Jimmy approached me. That's when he approached me, and I don't know if he realized it was about to be archived or not, but that's when he approached me and asked me to be an admin, and he started doing stuff, and the page started working better. Because I had, like you said, at the time I was a full-time student, doing everything else, working. Actually, I think at that time I was working 2 jobs, taking a break from being a student. So it was a really busy time. You know, it was about running up to getting married at the time.
Yeah.
So it was just crazy. And then Jimmy approached me, and it was kind of a faith moment where I had to kind of jump and give up admin privileges to somebody outside myself, because at that time there didn't have multiple levels of admins for Facebook groups. You either were 100% an admin or you were a member. And at that time, what was rampant across Facebook was people stealing other groups too, joining the group, becoming an admin, kicking the original person out. And that was my biggest fear. And luckily, you guys were just awesome individuals that weren't ever going to do that. But that's
a good
kind of
point,
the big
too.
moment I had.
Yeah, nobody blames Adam for what he did. Like, or you know, it's like not your fucking fault. You had the seed, right? And that's was your role. Yeah, here was you had the seed and you fought for it. And one of the most important things that you did was tell that greasy motherfucker from that other liberal gun owning group, who, by the way, again, is not indicative of that liberal gun owning group, but, and he's no longer fucking with it. But you said, fuck you, fuck off. And because Adam said that, that's why we have what we have today.
Yeah.
It's
true.
It gave the chance for us to be a thing, our own thing. And I do think that the liberal gun owning world needs more than one group. Oh, yeah. As long as we understand the Venn diagram and we understand the boundaries, and we need that different kinds of ideas and coverage. And The worst thing that could happen is if we pulled everybody under one umbrella. I think that would be the worst fucking thing that could happen for the other groups. Right? So
yeah, it'd be a train wreck, I think.
Yeah. And you have to have that ability in this position to do this, right? And Adam said, fuck off. No. And I have to do that same thing. I legitimately have to be able to tell people, I don't care if you're offering me $1 million to a donation or whatever, and you're earmarking it with something you want, how you want to see things to go. You can take your money and you can wipe your fucking dick off with it. No. Right? That whole draw the line between what we feel is fair and what is reasonable to the vision of what we have going on here, and everything else is super important, and it's more important than inclusion. Period.
Absolutely. It's one of those, the old saying, you want to be open-minded, but don't let your brain fall out.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
You have to have realistic expectations. And we had to go from being a gun group to then being a group that was gun group for specifically liberals because of the toxic environment at the time, to being a gun group for liberals that are adults.
Right.
And that was a huge thing. The online community lets a lot of people in that are not adults. I mean, that's the biggest thing. And we have to require that you have to be able to interact as a human being, and you have to be respectful and be an adult. And you can argue, you can debate, you can do all that other stuff.
Yeah.
But that was the line we had to draw.
Yeah. The inclusion aspect is between assholes and not assholes. It's really simple. And if you're a right-wing asshole, you don't get in. If you're a left-wing asshole, you don't get to stay. It's really that simple. And there are the vast majority of left-wing assholes have probably been white males, right? But we have had every kind of left-wing asshole: black, Chinese, gay, transgender assholes.
French.
Yes. French Canadian. The French Canadian asshole is the worst. So for those of you that are Canadian, he was the fucking worst. But we have had every kind of asshole, and there is like, you're an asshole or you're not an asshole. And those are the rules.
A plethora of assholes, if you will.
It was unfucking godly. It was unbelievable. And I was on this page as like master admin guy once, and we'll talk about how that happened. But I was on the page for 7 years straight, 7 days a week. And it had a major negative impact on my mental health. It did. I didn't realize it until I stopped. And we'll talk about how if it weren't for Will Hancock, mostly Will Hancock, and then after that, Casey Murphy. If it weren't for Will Hancock, I don't know where my mental health would be. Because, and I'm not denigrating the super important investment that Carmen Thompson, that Morgan made a big contribution, and Bacon, right? These cats, they all were essential, right? But absolutely, I wasn't able to leave it until Will Hancock came. When he did that, I knew somebody was going to be there 7 days a week for sure. Because not even Jimmy or Adam could even, to the degree to what Will did, not even Jimmy or Adam can do that, right? But Will, maybe for better or for worse, maybe it's not a good sign of things that he was able to do that. He's not doing it anymore.
It fits Will
yes.
well.
So if he didn't come in, I don't think I would have been able to get my head back on straight, because I was a cop for internet assholes for 7 years straight, 7 days a week. And it was necessary. It's how we got to where we got to, so we could have something else. But that's how bad it was. So to go back, Jimmy, you asked for the admin privileges from Adam, and it happens. And Adam goes, okay.
Yeah, no, it was no argument at all from Adam. He gave it up, and you made the point, right, that you had to take a leap of faith. And for those that don't know, at this time, that was very true. Adam and I didn't know each other from a bum on the street. He may have just, recognized my name from the gun of the week stuff that I would do. But other than that, Adam and I did not know each other yet.
Well, what I did know is that you interacted like an adult human being. And that's the biggest thing that we came across on the page. And that's why I actually trusted handing it over to you, because there's nobody else on the page at the time that I thought had enough common sense or trust to do that. That's why I was willing to do that.
Although I'm trying to remember what my signature was like back then. I was reasonable, but I'm still comedic, and like I just didn't jerk people around. I didn't like explode on people. I was just trying to get laughs happening or like whatever.
So it's kind of funny, right? It's a good balance, the three of us. I think Adam and I are pretty reserved, pretty quiet. And you more than make up for that for us.
And I think what ended up being required was to have a personality on the page.
Yeah.
And that's just what I grew out.
Absolutely.
But anyway, I just remember when Jimmy asked for permission, and got it. And then I had been chomping at the fucking bit.
So this is what I remember when he gave me permission to be admin. It went from us talking about like, hey, did you get any preps done, to, hey, who should we throw out today?
Fuck yeah. It was like, let's go. Like, it wasn't time for another purge. Adam did the original purge. And then there was so much junk, so many garbage people. So that's when the Machiavellian Randy phase was like, now that I have Jimmy and we talk all the time anyway, I just put the whisper in his ear. That French Canadian dude, I'm telling you, man, this other fucker, this guy, I don't know, man. He's just not. But then, so I recall then that, because of Jimmy's life circumstances, Jimmy had to fade a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
And so then we started going backwards.
So I think at this point, my thoughts were like, what the hell? I asked Randy about this stuff anyway. And I think I asked Adam, hey, can you make Randy admin too?
Yeah. Yeah. And we talked about it, and then I hit Adam up, and he was like, yes, there was no hesitation.
People really started getting the boot at that point.
Oh, I was holding it back. How hard was it being held in? It lasted 7 years. That's how much the quote unquote community needed. Was a guy that had to hammer the shit out of it till he couldn't do it anymore, and that was 7 years. So it became apparent to me at that time that we needed a personality, and that I was just gonna have to be out there like, look, fuckers, here's what's up, like all the time. And once that happened, there was a period of time once I came in that Adam then was able to, I don't know what happened in your life, Adam, I don't know if you remember this, but you were able to sink into the mod core. Like,
I got a smartphone.
Oh, okay. That's
yeah. This is when we all started talking.
Yeah, text wise.
Right.
So Adam
and getting to know each other.
Yeah.
Better.
So Adam got a smartphone, and then we became a moderation core, and then we could cover gaps, we could have conversations, but it was still like a fucking 7 day a week thing. Whether somebody could be in on that or not for 7 days, didn't matter. There was a 7 day a week thing.
Well, and there was a gap there too before I got the smartphone, when we slowed down a little bit. And that's why we added Carmen, because some asshole got on the page, posted porn on the page, and it sat there for a bit because we just, at that time it was a gap before we all had smartphones. You had to be on your computer for some of it, and you couldn't always be on there. Yeah. So we added her as a moderator to the group, because she kind of messaged us going, guys, this is happening, and we need to fix this, or this group's going to be going bye-bye. Yep. So that's why we brought Carmen on. And then I think that was the time period there.
Yeah. It became a thing. And eventually we added Hunter and then Morgan. Once we cored up and there was a multiple head monster, something changed. And I noticed that healthier people were attracted to the group and would stay with the group. once they knew that there was an actual functioning moderating core that they could somewhat see, that the dynamic there changed. And then that dynamic led into the Trump phenomenon. But that dynamic happened before the Trump phenomenon.
Yes, absolutely. I think you're right. When in the beginning, when we would have regular, thoughtful posts by people, it's not like everybody was nuts. But I think the fact that it was just the Wild West in there, no one would stay. And once we had you and me and Adam thinking and planning and booting people and telling people we're going to boot you if you act like an idiot, people started to stay.
I think part of that too was the change in structure that Facebook groups went through at that time. Again, we got our moderating crew, but there was no screening process for letting people into the group. It was just you let them in and they either shit on the floor or they act like an adult. And once they started adding that, we actually started being stricter and stricter and stricter in who we let into the group, to the point that we're letting in 1 out of every 5 people only. That really, I think, helped a lot too.
We before the advent of the new rules system, where you can put rules up at the front gate and have people answer questions and all of that stuff, which I'm certain was not developed just because of our experience. Our experience is a reflection of what everybody was going through. But before then, it was all fucking manual, man. It was stick shift. It was constant stick shift. And you had to be on it, or you could just we had to deal with major runs of trolls, and we had to deal with moles, people with multiple accounts that were playing good cop, bad cop. One of their accounts, they were a good guy. One of their accounts, they were a fucking troll, which I think a couple people probably still have. It might be not as much now, but I still think a few people are in there as a double agent, which is a real thing. But we had an effective moderating thing going on, and that went up until the Trump phenomenon. And so I'm saying that because people that are listening to this need to understand something. I can't tell you how many times we came across somebody in the community that was like, we need to let everybody in because it's liberals versus conservatives. You shouldn't be kicking people out. These people don't understand the first fucking thing about running a group like this on the internet if they're saying that. But we easily, and I think Adam could attest to this, I think at this point we have probably denied over 300,000 people from joining the group.
I actually think that's not a crazy number. I think it's pretty good, especially for a while there, when we'd pop up on some conservative page and we'd get several hundred people all at once trying to join the group to crap on us. And then having to go and being either one of the people that sat there and looked through all those profiles of garbage. I mean, I think
it's easily over 200,000. It's easily, but I was saying that fucking 4 years ago. So I think we have denied 300,000 people. And so some people who are like superficial thinkers will go, well, that's all the liberal we're supposed to be. That's the family. We're pretty reasonable about how we fucking select people. All right. And so it really takes that kind of trimming to have the 5,000-ish people that we have who are healthy.
Yeah. I also think it should be said, those that don't know the three of us, we are all pretty liberal politically. So we're open to all of these ideas and people. It just doesn't work that way.
Everybody on this screen has a relationship with a brown person. I don't know if people will be like, yeah, well, that's
good point.
One of us is half of brown person.
Yeah.
And one of us, myself, has Native American blood. Jimmy and I have 4 biracial kids between us.
Yeah. Not with each other.
No, not with each other. We're still working.
Would be okay.
We're still working that part out. How do we do that? If you look at the since I'm virtue signaling, let's keep going with it. If you look at the first 5 of us in the mod core, 3 of us are in, 4 of us are in biracial relationships. And between those 4 people, we have 6 biracial, well, 3 of those people, we have 6 biracial children. Yeah. So it's not like we're in there.
Looks like they will be replaced.
So I don't know what that informs, but people should know that, right? Since, I invite all kinds of people to come out to do our things with us. And sometimes, guess what? Surprise, surprise, just white dudes show up. Just white dudes mostly return the emails. Mostly just white dudes spend the money. Mostly just white dudes do most of the shit. I can't fucking change that. That's guns. We're trying to change it and help it, but that's been the reality.
One thing I will point out, that not that it matters, not that we actually did this on purpose, but looking at the actual demographics that we deal with in our group and compare them to the people that we have invited to the trainings or had attend the trainings, it is representative. I mean,
Right.
it is quite representative. It's not like, we're a boys club or anything like that. Yeah. It's just the real talk point on this is our membership is indicative of what we see there. Most of the guys and people in this group are males.
Yes.
It just happens to be the cultural thing there.
Yes, and I also have added incentivized opportunities for marginalized people that white dudes don't get.
Mm-hmm.
But in the end, when people say no, they say no, right? So the other thing is nobody sees less potential for what the group needs than another set of Yancey Faulkner's fucking photographs of a bunch of dudes that we have to cut the bottom half of the picture off because there's so much gut happening. Like that does not help. I'm telling you, it fucking doesn't help the dudes. It doesn't help our fucking materials. And I'm the first dude. It was like, so when I saw our pictures coming back, I was coming off 10 years straight of busting my ass as a builder, starting a family, getting home late, eating dinner at 10 o'clock, can't do cardio. My knees are fucking destroyed. I'm in insulin resistance, pre-diabetic state. I'm the first dude. That's why I was like, fuck, I got to change this. And I lost 40 pounds. And we've lost hundreds of pounds.
Wow.
We've lost hundreds of pounds as a group because of that. So no one gets the whole like, Jesus Christ, do we need another fucking dad bod thing and guns? No one gets that better than I do. I get it.